Hey folks, Jason here again from Blue Label Bastards Wargaming, and I wanted to do another weekly update in my very slow, unfortunately, progress in painting, modeling, and learning bolt action. I am in the midst of rendering a video for my Hail Caesar progress, and unfortunately I've made more on that, and I didn't make that much progress on a Hail Caesar this week than I did with bolt action. All I managed to do was, and this isn't always a bad thing, but I think all of us hobbies fall into it, is buy more than you can build. So I bought a fair number of things this weekend. It was my birthday, so I splurged a little bit. But I wanted to talk about, as I'm going through what I purchased, something that I've run into that's kind of, and I guess I shouldn't be surprised by it, but because I've always done fantasy wargaming or very old historicals, I haven't had to deal a lot with kind of hobby guilt. And not hobby guilt in terms of spending too much money, because we've all gone through that, but hobby guilt in terms of, do you feel bad about a faction that you're playing? And if you watch my previous videos, you've seen that I picked World War II Germans. I don't want this to turn into a political video. Obviously, the German leadership, Hitler, did some, to put it mildly, some very not nice things. But, like, should or do other people feel guilty about playing Germans? So let me show you what I had picked up before. So, set of, I forgot about the glare, sorry about this. A set of German infantry. I wanted to do initially a late war force. I'm going to zoom out a little bit and you'll see my cluttered tabletop. So late war German army, there's a box of figures, haven't done anything with yet. But then when I was out this week, I figured, well, I'll pick up a set of early war Germans. And these, you technically could play them the same, but the uniforms are different, so are the paint schemes. So I want to do some early war. I might do Africa Corps. I might do early Blitzkrieg on the Eastern Front. Not really sure yet. So that's what I have purchased so far. Again, for the same reason I did the tank thing, I picked up a starter set for how to paint German field gray. And I'm going to leave that out because we're going to talk about, that's going to be my next actual project. And I picked up two more not cheap tanks, but two more tanks. I got a Panzer IV from Warlord Games, and I'll do separate reviews on these. Why aren't you focusing on this? My battery is also close to dying, so for some reason it's not wanting to focus. And then a Panzer III from Rubicon Models, which is a bit of a cheaper plate. It's slightly different. It's a little bit cheaper to get. So I picked those up, getting all excited, and then this came in the mail, and this is what I'm going to start with. Zoom. Sorry about the shaky camera, folks. Well, I guess we just don't want to focus right now. It's because the battery is getting low. So we're going to try to focus this. There we go. So here is the German name for German Army. It's headquarters, and these are late war models. And so I'm going to practice painting using this to get my paint schemes down. I'm not going to do speed painting like I talked about if you watch my Hail Caesar video. But so these are late war uniformed guys with slightly different paint schemes. And so that's going to be my next project. I was debating whether to take those out. I'm going on vacation this week for the next 2 weeks to Arizona, so unfortunately I'm not going to be making my video quota, my one video per week. But getting back to what I mentioned in the beginning, you know, when I wanted to play the Germans, for some reason I like to play the bad guys. I played Warriors of Chaos and Chaos Dwarves in Warhammer Fantasy, although I also played Bretonnians. I've always liked German armor and German aircraft. Obviously, that doesn't reflect on me at all. You know, you're not automatically pro-Hitler, pro-Nazi if you like to play Germans in a World War II skirmish, you know, squad to company level war game. But I did get this kind of itchy, you know, feeling a little dirty about this. Like, for some reason, I arbitrarily said I will not play any SS units, which, if you're looking at folks that were kind of on the spectrum of, you know, extra deep in hell. The SS is going to be more that direction than the average German soldier. But why should I feel guilty about playing SS? Would I feel bad? You know, I was talking with a friend of mine about these. You know, the Assyrians, or there's plenty of examples of people in the past. You know, scorched earth, sowing salt into the ground, crucifixions. You know, you name it. The human race has managed throughout the centuries and millennia to do some pretty nasty things to itself. But, and maybe do others out there feel guilty when they play the Axis armies in World War II games? Like, you know, even though the Russians were on the Allied side, the Russians did some pretty horrible things, not only to themselves, but when they were moving westward through Poland and Germany, they took some liberties too. Never mind the Japanese. You know, do people feel guilty when they play Japanese when we talk about the rape of Nanking and Bataan Death March? I don't think I'm the only one that feels this, but it's interesting that as I started to think about getting into bolt action, and again, I'm not trying to rack and stack who are the most evil. This isn't a discussion on the political angle or political side of who was more or less justified. Clearly, the Axis lost, in my view, because they were the worst of the worst. But still, should we be allowed to play them, even though they were the definitely the bad guys? Like, should we feel guilty about it? Should we not play particular units? I guess it's the same way when you look at World War II reenactors. And I don't know, I guess I was kind of dismissive of it before and kind of chuckled a bit when I saw people wearing World War II uniforms who were fully committed to historical reenactment, just like Civil War reenactors are, or anybody else out there. You know, Roman legionaries, people still dress up or in what they believe is authentic costume now. So I guess this is obviously a bit of a ramble, but this is the first time I've had to struggle with it, and it's probably I'm just psyching myself out. So I'm wondering if anybody else out there has gone through kind of a similar, you know, thought exercise. Do you feel guilty about playing the bad guys in something that's much more current? And we're still talking 70 years ago. You know, at what point will people stop? What point, if at all, will people stop getting kind of the itch between their shoulder blades, like, oh, do I really want to play the SS guys in World War II? What about the Japanese going through China, Manchuria, or the Russians in East Prussia? The little squeamish factor, I guess. Is that acceptable in wargaming? I mean, I guess we wouldn't want it to be completely amoral, but should we limit ourselves because they're the really, really bad guys? So, just quickly wrap this up. Sorry for not getting more hobbying done, but this does give me an opportunity to offer a little bit of a ramble on this. Like I said, I'm going to be out for the next 2 weeks in Arizona, not taking my painting stuff with me. I'm going to go visit with family. And I hope to really get going on the Flames of War stuff as soon as I get back, and we're going to start with these guys here. But I welcome your thoughts on kind of the morality of wargaming, which for most genres doesn't matter. So if you want to post some comments, I'd welcome them, welcome your thoughts. But no matter what you do, I hope you guys and girls have a great holiday season. Whatever you do or don't celebrate, go hang out with some friends, do some wargaming, and I will probably catch up with you again in the new year. So again, happy holidays and keep on wargaming.